mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, welcome home, family. It's your mom and dad. You're not gonna tempt me. God, I'll never get over it. It's such a good song. I've been singing it for the past week and a half.
I feel bad for the people. Wait, because you're saying the song's gone.
Yeah,
right.
but I'm just saying it's the song's so fire.
I do feel bad for the people that like were on Temptation Island and they heard they're gonna get on Netflix and they're like, yes, and then it's just like we dropped the song.
I'm gonna start streaming that song like on loop. It's been stuck in my head. I was on set for the last week with our daughter Ember, which was so exciting. Evan actually got to come for the end of one day and peep our daughter in action. We were both crying. She's amazing. She was crying because she's so happy. We're a teary mess the last couple days.
It's been amazing.
But while I've been on set, because of watching these episodes all day, you're not gonna tempt me.
Stuck in your head.
And one of the moms listened, looked at me and he goes, "What are you singing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to sing, just kind of casually.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have sang Grant's song, whatever his. It was just like, I don't remember the melody exactly, but it was something to the effect like the lyrics were just like, "You're gonna." Like, we started something we should have never started. And
I wrote down.
Did you write some of the lyrics?
Some of the lyrics down. It said, "'Cause I know that I hurt you and I wasn't numb."
Well, okay, first of all, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Because I know I hurt you and I wasn't numb. So, okay, I don't really get it, but maybe it like rhymes in his head or something.
There's no rhyming going on, by the way, in this song. Because I know that I hurt you and I wasn't numb. So tell me now, is it too late to try it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all have our
Family,
skills. Is it too late to try it?
I just need to say
mean?
to you all that in our last recap, when we saw the first episode and when he had time alone with the men, that he busted out that guitar. I said that guitar will be brought out, okay? So I was not disappointed that post-coitus with Natalie, he's in a hammock strumming his guitar, writing a horrible song about wishing he was back with Ashley. Dude, this man.
And then he sets his guitar down and is just like, I needed to talk to you. Like, it's like a movie.
And then poor Natalie walks up and is just like, "Oh, nice song." Not like really
Not
hearing the lyrics.
that it's like an apology letter to Ashley.
Ashley, dude, I can't.
4 hours after they had sex for the first time.
I cannot handle him. I have so much to say. Yes. I also feel, but of course, very vindicated and validated in how I felt. Not that it was shocking, but how I felt within the first 5 minutes of seeing him on my screen. I immediately stopped watching it and I was like, "Evan, I have strong opinions about this guy and I feel bad because maybe I'm wrong, but within 3 minutes, I know exactly who this guy is." And I'm going to be ranting about him a lot today. But I wrote down a question whilst I was watching episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Temptation Island that I wanted to ask you. Okay. All right. So let's just say you and I go on to Temptation Island.
Hate it. Okay.
And before we go on, we're like, "Hey, we're monogamous and we have these rules and boundaries." So this is our agreement. We're like, "Hey, we're monogamous and we've got specific rules and boundaries that say we will not cross emotionally or physically in a monogamous setting." Strict rules and boundaries. Okay. Like many of the couples, act like you're monogamously dating me emotionally and physically. Okay. What are you more distraught about?
This is good.
If you see me have a threesome.
Okay, hold on. Let me just kind of digest.
If you're watching a bonfire and you see.
You're obviously in that villa, so it's 2 guys.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So you see me have a threesome.
Okay.
You see me have shower sex.
Okay.
You see me sleep in a bed every night with someone and cuddle.
Okay.
Same person every night.
Yeah.
Or you see me actually enjoy Grant's guitar playing an original song. So those are the 4 options.
That's clearly the worst one. If you start complimenting his talent or lack of, I'd be like, we clearly do not, like, we can't be together.
This will never work.
Yeah, I don't trust you at all. That's the most disgusting abuse of taste you could possibly have. Okay.
But which one's going to affect you the most? Like upset you the most? If we have all these rules and boundaries in place.
That's really like a good question because they're all three so different.
They call me a journalist. Go ahead.
Listen, I love you. No one's ever said you're a journalist. Well, I don't know what this has to do with journalism.
Well, I'm coming up with the hard-hitting questions.
That's true. Okay, got it.
You know, I'm trying to dig down deep and really examine who you are because this answer does speak to who you are.
Well,
so
it's interesting because it's like the threesome to me is like, wow, there was really like, let's say we hadn't talked about any of this, so I didn't know about whatever. My
threesome desires.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would be like, wow, there was really an itch that needed to be scratched there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like something like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't look at the threesome as you wanting to be intimate. I look at it as like, there was some sexual need there that you were like fantasizing about or like whatever. Because it's just kind of like, whoa, right?
Right.
The shower sex suggests like, to me, you're extremely sexually attracted to a person.
Okay. Yes, an individual.
Yes, and then the cuddling says like I might like be in love. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
and then the original song "Enjoying That" is just bad taste.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
just like I don't know you. I don't know who you are. Yeah, I don't know who you are. Okay, so what do you think?
Probably. It's hard because it's like which one would it's like some would sting right away the worst and then last less versus the opposite. I'd have to go in the middle,
which is shower sex.
Probably shower sex because it kind of feels like a mixture of both.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
It makes like there's an intimacy there. Obviously, you're having sex with someone, but it's also kind of like romantic because you're like one-on-one in like a private place in the shower. That's kind of like cinematic.
Yes,
but then also like you're pursuing kind of like a more of an erotic fantasy energy that resembles threesome energy. So you're kind of dipping into both versus just cuddling could be kind of like, I'm feeling alone. I'm feeling whatever. I could kind of maybe deal with that in my brain. And then
same person every night.
I don't know. I just might be able to go like, well, she hasn't hooked up with us, so maybe there's just kind of this like,
I feel safe and cozy
feels
with
safe
this
and she's
person.
feeling nervous and she needs someone to kind of make her feel good. And then the threesome, I could go, okay, it's just a sexual thing. Like maybe there's just like we hadn't talked about it and there's some major scratch that was itched and it's horrific to watch, but at least like I could kind of write it off a little bit.
Right.
But the middle one feels like it could be both at the same time, which is the most hurtful. That's mine. How about you?
No questions asked, cuddling with the same woman every night.
Okay.
No questions asked. Because I'd be like, he found somebody that he actually could see himself with.
Right.
There's no, like, to me, it's no
it's
question.
Not even close.
And especially like the whole Tyler energy too, where he keeps talking about
it's when he's romantic with her.
He's like pretending to propose to her and he's calling her baby at one point. And then he's talking about how she offers all these things that his girlfriend doesn't.
Grant and Natalie are much more like sexually charged and less romantic when it comes to like the dialogue.
You mean Grant? Oh, Grant and Natalie. Yes.
They're much more just like hot and heavy for each other.
Yes.
Versus like
Brion's just having sex with everybody.
Just pure sex. And then Tyler truly is like doing the least physically, but by far the most emotionally.
Because if I was in Ashley or Shantae's position, I would feel, of course, devastation. Don't get me wrong. But then I would also feel like that, like, screw you. I'm gonna go hook up with somebody
even
a little more.
Scales.
Yeah, and I'd be devastated, but it would feel more like I'd be angry. If I was Taylor, I'd be devastated.
Right, because you can't really get back. What are you going to cuddle with someone else? It doesn't really like
devastated.
translate.
No, because I'd be like, my person who I'm in love with has found. If you and I were in that situation, I'd be like, okay, great. Evan found a new me.
Right.
And except apparently she's better than me, and so we're done. Like I'd be like, I guess we're done. Like that's where my brain would be, just because it'd be like the emotional intimacy.
I totally get that. I totally get that.
So no, good to know.
Wow, interesting.
Good to know.
Yeah, I could talk about this for hours, because it's like so you kind of are analyzing yourself and then the other person too, and then you're thinking about like what's your tendencies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you're kind of putting it up against like what you're like versus what I'm like, and then you're kind of like comparing them.
We're hoping after we're done recapping all these episodes to have our king Mark Wahlberg on.
Yes,
and I want to
cannot
ask
wait.
him personally a lot of these questions. I want to ask him, like, as a host viewing this, how do you feel? Like, is there something that you feel upsets people more? Like, I have a lot of questions
because you're
about.
in person too, so
Yeah,
you're kind of
so
a
you
lot more
feel the
connected.
actual like charged energy. Okay. We got a lot to chat about.
Yes.
We got a lot to chat about. But before we officially dive in, family, we've got to take a quick pause. So, I have a feeling that some of these women are going to be moving out away from their boyfriends after this wraps. Good for them. I can say this twice. Good for them. Okay. But that means they'll be looking for a new place to furnish. And if you're looking for indoor and outdoor furniture, may I suggest my favorite Article. Article.com, baby. If you know me personally and ask for a furniture recommendation, I will say Article, because over the years, we've gotten couches, dining room tables, side tables, chairs, and more from them. And we keep shopping there because not only do their pieces look so stylish, they look great. They're also so quality, like sturdy, heavy, gleaming. They're incredible. They stand the test of time and life, and the prices are amazing. I'm telling you, we've had our dining room table, I think, for over like 7 years now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And this table is still in incredible shape. Like, this will continue to last for years and years and years, and it still looks timeless too. We're obsessed.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's true. The craftsmanship with Article, the pieces are incredible. And it's because Article takes great care in curating its collection, focusing solely on high quality, meaningful pieces that will stand the test of time. There's no filler. Every item is chosen for its craftsmanship, design, and lasting value. And that curated range includes mid-century modern, coastal, and Scandinavian-inspired pieces that not only shine on their own, but also pair seamlessly with nearly any other Article product, which is amazing. It makes it so easy to mix and match, help you create a space that feels cohesive and stylish.
They make you feel like an interior designer, my friends,
We
okay?
all know I wish I could be.
And you are with Article. Also, just want to shout out their customer care team. They're amazing and available 7 days a week. They'll answer questions, offer support, and even free interior design services to help you get your home just right. It's a 10 out of 10. Article offers fast, affordable shipping across the US and Canada with options for professional assembly if you prefer a hands-off experience. And they have a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. Like I said, we're obsessed. You'll be obsessed. And Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/momdad, and the discount will automatically be applied at checkout. That's article.com/momdad for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Okay, so I just want to dive straight in. Last episode, we covered episodes 1, 2, and 3, our last recap, and we went chronologically. But this time, since we know the couples more, can we go couple by couple?
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to go couple by couple.
Well, we can do what you like, babe.
Thank you so very much. I so appreciate you. As a journalist, I would like to lead the charge.
Yes.
So episodes 4, 5, and 6, Temptation Island. I would like to start off talking about Grant and Ashley because, like I mentioned before, the feelings that rage through me. Grant, first of all, he's a Garrett to me. I look at him and he's a Garrett. He's not a Grant, he's a Garrett.
Interesting.
And no shade to any Garretts out there, but I haven't had a great experience with Garretts. So when I look at him, he's Garrett.
Garrett, he's Chaz.
He's
you know what I
he's
mean? He's just
Chad, he's
all the
Garrett.
like fake names in like a movie with like a jock who's a bully.
Yeah, exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
And he is, when I look at him and have observed him now over 6 episodes, he is the nightmare my friends deal with on Hinge. Okay? Oh God, you guys. He serves guy at a bar in LA so hard. Like, I don't quite know how to express this to you. He's every guy at every bar in Los Angeles that I go to with my single friends who charms them. They go on a couple dates. He's trying to hook up. They're a little bit like, I want to get to know you more. And he's like, yeah, I think I really, really like you. They end up finally having sex. And the next morning, he's like, you know, you're incredible, but I just want to let you know, like, I'm emotionally in like a really rough patch. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed last night, but like, just for your sake,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to step back and move on. That is Grant.
Yes.
He is that guy to a T.
It's also, I always look at it like a big red flag too when someone's really obsessed with saying how good of a guy they are. Anytime someone's like, I'm a good person, and they really make that, it's like, you're not. And you're trying to convince yourself, you're trying to come up with like, you're trying to find the balance of like all the bad shit I've done versus the good shit, and therefore it outweighs. It's like anyone who ever even brings up how good of a person they are all the time, it's like, you're missing something.
You know what I had to say? Shout out to Ashley, because she was very balanced. She is far less petty than if I was her on this show, the havoc that I would wreak after seeing what Grant's doing over there.
What did she say? Like,
she said at one point, she said, he's not a bad person, he's a bad boyfriend. And I'm like, you know what? That
might be the case. You know what I mean?
But yeah, who knows? I don't know the guy.
But bad boyfriend, I take like, you know, doesn't clean up around the house. You know, like isn't good at planning dinners.
Yeah.
You know, like doesn't compliment
you enough.
Compliment you enough. Not serial cheating on you many times. I wouldn't say that's a bad boyfriend. That's when you're getting into like immoral places, right?
Yeah.
Like bad boyfriend's like saying bad employee.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't file the reports on time.
Late to work all the time.
To emails.
Yeah.
That's not
like steals from
company,
the company.
and you know what I mean, and burn the building down. Very different vibe. So she is very sweet to not say he's also a bad person.
Like, dude, I would Temptation Island, I'd be wreaking havoc.
Gosh.
Okay? She keeps talking about how Logan and Danny are her two boyfriends, and all I want is a threesome for Ashley. That I desire.
Just so not her vibe.
I understand, but I'm saying, as a viewer, and she keeps saying my two boyfriends, and she's into both of them, I'm like, what I want Grant to have to see is this queen that he's with, who he doesn't deserve, being like, here are these two hotties, we're going to have a threesome. Yeah. Which, by the way, Grant, you haven't had in these villas. So that's what I want for her, and I'm holding on hope. I want Ashley to do what's going to make her happy, but I am holding on hope for this.
Yes, we want a little bit more pettiness from Ashley.
So these two, we left off with Grant absolutely macking his face off with Natalie. Mm-hmm. And they end up coming back that night, and Ashley's starting to, on the women's side of the villa, she's starting to open up a little more. Yeah. That night, she's taking some shots. She's doing some body shots. Dancing on the table. She seems like she's loosening up and like having a little more fun.
Sure.
But the next day, Mark comes in and he tells the men and then the women, hey, you're going to have to get rid of two singles.
Yeah.
So the women choose to ditch Quentin and Eric.
Yeah.
And then Case sacrifices himself. We'll talk about that when we talk about Tyler and Taylor. But then the men choose Reba and Mia. And then they end up having these boys and girls nights.
Yeah.
Okay. So the men, I want to discuss the men. The men go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And they're a beautiful hostess and a beautiful server. Mm-hmm. Grant.
Was it Grant that said it? I couldn't make out who said it.
It's Grant. Okay, Grant immediately, without even a breath, is hitting on both of them. Yeah. Okay, he's just like, well, she's like, I'll leave you be. He's like, no, well, you can stay and sit here if you like.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, you're on TV. You already made out with another girl, and now you're like kind of cheating on both of them by being scumbag vibe. It's like really just interesting. It was like, wow, this guy has no shame.
Well, but the thing about him that I find to be just the worst is that I think he is aware, and we talked about this last week, I think Grant is aware he's on TV and he's holding back, which means what is this guy like when he's not on TV?
Sure.
Versus Brion, I think what you see is what you get with Brion.
Oh my gosh.
He's just being fully himself on television. I think Grant's holding back, and I'm like, dang. So when the cameras are off, Grant is wild. Mm-hmm. Grant is wild because the men meet the new women, Angel and Daria, and Grant's right away kind of locked in with Daria. Yeah. They bring the new women back to their villa, And not only then are Grant's eyes locked on Daria, Olivia, who he went out on the first date with, comes up to him and he's like, "Oh, I like that outfit," and fully grabs her ass.
Yeah.
He scales
He's
by
just
her
trying to
ass.
get everything.
He is just trying to get everything. And Olivia is having a good process where
Right.
she's like, Grant just sees something shiny and follows
Right,
that.
of course.
So I'm off it.
Yep.
She's not interested.
Yep.
But this is when Grant brings Daria back and literally says, "I'm going to try to make Natalie jealous."
Right.
Family, this man is attempting to make a woman jealous that he's known for 48 hours.
He's making his like mistress. He's trying to make his mistress jealous.
Yes. His mistress, who he just met, who he literally just met 48 hours ago.
He's like,
and
this
they
relationship's
just-
getting a little too comfortable.
And they, he's like,
I need to shake it up.
I gotta see how you really feel. It's like they made out 10 hours before for the first time. They locked lips for the first time
Yes.
10 hours before. And he's like, "I'm gonna see how Natalie," he goes, "Natalie's so nice and mellow. Like, I kind of want to see her jealous." And I was like, this man is toxic.
Oh my gosh.
This man is
Insane.
toxic.
Did it work or didn't it work? Because it's kind of interesting, right? It's like she reacted immediately pissed. She, kind of said, "By the way, I'm not one of those girls. You can't do that to me. That doesn't work, blah, blah, blah." But then 2 hours later,
They're
you know
having
what I'm
sex.
saying? They're having
I
sex. So it was kind of one of those
know.
things where it's like, I'm glad she stood up for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad she did the whole, like, "You can't do that to me. I'm not one of these girls that like is just going to be jealous and then give myself over to you." But then she got jealous and then gave herself. So it's almost like he knew. I don't know what. You know what I mean? Like, did he know her vibe, or was he just like?
I think because like Olivia had said that Grant follows what's shiny. I think shiny was new girl Daria, and he tried to make Natalie jealous because he just wants to have fun with everybody,
Yeah.
right? I think because Natalie shut him down hard and was like, "I'm not into it," she became more of a challenge. I think if Natalie would have like laughed and been like, "Yeah, do another shot off of Daria," I think Grant would have started to pay attention to Daria.
Right.
Because she's new. I think because Natalie was like, "Absolutely not. I don't play that game." It was like, well, now she's hard to get. So now I need to continue
Yeah.
to try to conquer Natalie.
But
I think that's what's happening.
I agree to some extent, but the sex happened because of her. Like, they went into the bathroom. He's brushing his teeth.
Yes.
She takes her clothes off, gets in the shower, and says, "You're not going to join me?"
No, I know, but what led to that was
yeah.
then he started pursuing her for the
Right.
next like few hours, and he was like, "Here's wine, here's
Sure.
whatever. Let's go into the
You're
oh
right.
no, that was a different
They were
thing."
going to the
But
bed,
he was
and they were looking at each other longingly on the bed.
he was then
and
trying to like
everything. For sure. He's trying
romance
to
her,
woo
which
her.
I'm saying I think he would have fully bailed on her and just gone full Daria if she would have been like, "Yeah, we're all having fun." I think it's because she all of a sudden pulled back that then he was interested. And I'm sure there's a dynamic like that with Ashley, which for instance, he brings up and he goes, "It's tough because like what I'm used to is Ashley likes, like when we go out to the club,
Right.
Ashley likes when I'm flirting with somebody."
Right.
And I'm sitting here going, "You are so off your rocker, sir." I can promise you that your girlfriend who doesn't trust you, who you've cheated on, who has brought you to Temptation Island to see if you can resist temptation, doesn't like when you go to the club and in front of her flirt with another woman. What I'm sure happens is you flirt with another woman in front of her, she gets upset and it revs your engine because you're like, "Ooh, attention, she wants me." And then you and her end up having, maybe like an intense convo and then sex after. But not that she likes the fact that you're flirting with somebody else. You like the fact that she gets jealous because you're toxic as hell.
You like it. It's different than you like it.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's his energy. It's like, you like it.
And she's like, "No, I don't
He's like,
like
"Come
it."
on.
I would love to hear from her mouth verbatim what that dynamic looks like when they went to the club.
Right.
I can promise you. She's like, because she even brought it up, I think at one of the bonfires or when she's talking about him, where she's like, he doesn't know
Yeah.
when it's too far. Like, he doesn't know that it's like, I'm not okay with you just being this way with everybody. That does not sound like somebody who's like, it turns me on when you flirt with someone in front of me.
Yeah, like it's like a decided upon consensual kink or something. It's like, it's just like, you like it.
So these two, you know, they're going back and forth. And then they end up going into his bedroom. Yep. She gets naked, goes into the shower. He joins her. We hear them.
Yeah, that's the thing that's great about Temptation Island is they don't leave you with innuendo. They literally just are like, hey, this is how it goes. And then you hear people like moaning and groaning and go, that feels good. I mean, it's like it's like
being like, does that feel good?
You're kind of watching it and being like, whoa, should I be watching this right now? Like, it's kind of intense.
It does actually rattle me every time. I'm never expecting it because, you know, obviously they're either in a closed room or they're blurred out, that I'm thinking we're just going to cut to another
kind of
scene.
Right when you think it's about to stop, it keeps going and you're like, whoa.
You're hearing panting. It's very a la old seasons of Jersey Shore.
Big time.
Like first couple seasons of Jersey Shore when like the sitch would be hooking up with somebody and you'd hear him, you'd be like, whoa, that's wild, dude.
100%. It's like old school TV.
Even Natalie said, you know, these cameras do have night vision.
Right.
He doesn't even hesitate, drops trow. Again, look where we're coming from. Like, this man has a full ass girlfriend.
Yes.
Who he knows will see this.
Yes.
Who he came on the show to prove to her he can resist temptation. And he just, with the cameras, Natalie reminding him the cameras have night vision, doesn't hesitate, drops trow, goes in. And why? Because he, in the last bonfire, was like, how dare she talk negatively about me? It's over. And you're like, she was talking to one of her girlfriends about the fact that she deserves better. And he's like, guess I'm going to have sex with someone now. I mean, I simply cannot.
Because then the next morning, right, we have, you know, the incredible guitar playing, which starts happening.
But of course.
Because he's saying he's sad. He walks over to Tyler. You know, he's just like, dude, I don't know, man. This is insane. I don't know what I'm in my head now, blah, blah, blah. Right? Playing the guitar. She comes over. Natalie comes over in the hammock and he's like, I've been meaning to talk to you. You know, for me, it's just like, I'm still just not 100%. I'm still thinking about Ashley. It's still something.
Can I say what he said?
Yeah.
I need to practice being alone.
Whoa, yeah. That was a good one. That's like, he pulled that from a book or a movie. Yeah.
Guys at the bar in LA.
Yes.
I just, right after the hookup, I need,
you know,
I need a little bit of like solitary time. Like, you know, just the energy around me. It's just been suffocating and I need to learn how to be alone.
It's interesting. And he is the walking definition of post-nut clarity. You know, they say that post-nut clarity.
Yes, for sure.
He's the walking definition of it. Here's why. Because the day before he had gotten off, he was saying, I kind of haven't really thought about Ashley much lately.
Haven't thought about Ashley. We're done. Yes. He tells Natalie, like, it's over.
It's over. Because he's kind of going, I don't like that she's being slightly irritated with me. And I have this option over here, so I think we're done. He has sex. Now all of a sudden it's like, I miss her, blah, 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 blah. What's interesting is, obviously you guys have seen this, is it's like he then goes to have sex multiple more times, right?
Correct.
But it's interesting because it's like, right after the sex, he misses Ashley. As the day goes on and his system rebuilds, he starts getting over it. And then he has sex and it's back down to missing Ashley. So when they catch him in his ITMs before sex, he's a little bit like, yeah, hopefully she can get over some of the stuff that she's been struggling with. Blah, blah. And then they catch him right after sex and he's just like, I just miss her. And I think that, you know, I don't know what's going on with us. And hopefully it's just really interesting how it's like, he literally is like a caveman with his like.
I could not believe that conversation. I could not believe that right after sex, he looked that woman in her eyes and said, I just need to practice being alone. And I'm thinking about Ashley and I'm sitting here writing a love song asking for forgiveness to
Natalie
Ashley.
Was amazing at handling it. I mean, I would have thought like, are you fucking kidding? But she just was like, I totally understand. This is what I told you before. You need to make, you know, sure that you're in the right headspace. Like, I just couldn't believe how she handled that.
But I just
like,
also want to run onto that island and like grab her and be like, girl, no.
Oh my God. The fact that she's being hoodwinked and like, you know, that she's kind of being like confused or like even like buying into anything he's selling is wild.
I feel devastated
she seems
for
really
her.
sweet. She doesn't have like, she's not even in the ITMs talking about like, I'm going to be his temptress or anything. It's like, she seems to be genuinely into him. And I'm like, what about his actions and vibe is giving
know,
you like,
I know.
this is a
And the
good
thing
guy?
is, like she was so, when he said that to her, she was like, no, listen, I totally get it. I'm here for you. But in the ITMs, she's going, absolutely not. And then earlier that evening before, she was like, no, I don't play those games. So it's like Natalie knows.
It's a head heart. It's
I
head
know
heart.
she knows that this is like this guy's bad news, but they just have that chemistry, and he does such a great job. Oh, he does such a great job trying to manipulating and pulling someone back in. But he basically tells her, he says no more physical stuff.
Yeah.
He says no more physical stuff. Okay. Then we get to their first bonfire.
Yeah.
Which let's chat about in just a minute. We have to take a quick pause. So, family, we're seeing a lot of fashion choices on this show. Everyone's in a new look every day, a new swimsuit or pair of board shorts every day. Well, let me tell you what our family will be wearing this spring and summer, and that is Minnow, okay? Minnow is a family lifestyle brand that embraces clean lines, simple details, and crisp seaside breezes. Chef's kiss, okay? And these pieces are gorgeous. They're also high quality and comfortable. When I first discovered Minnow, I was like heart eye scrolling through the website because these pieces, they just inspire this like seaside energy that I'm loving. It just gets like these good vibes flowing. And the brand's mission is to create premium products that will inspire family experiences. Again, it's for the whole family, which I love. Evan is actually wearing a shirt from Minnow. I don't know if you're on the YouTube right now, but it's a shirt from Minnow. It's the men's evergreen French terry polo. And I'm telling you what, it's my new favorite shirt he has.
Welcome to Compliment City.
I've been complimenting you constantly. You've been wearing this about 6 days in a row. And I still am obsessed because it looks so good on you. I need you to get like 10 more.
Okay, done. It's my favorite shirt right now.
It looks
incredible.
So good.
I also got a pair of the men's Surfside blue boardies. They're board shorts, and I absolutely love them. The cut is great. They're so comfortable. They're all I'll be wearing to the beach, that's for sure. Actually, Minnow's best-selling products are the girls' rash guard one piece, boys' boardies, and unisex rash guard shirts. We got Ember a Minnow one-piece rash guard, and she's already been hitting the waves in it. She looks so cute.
She looks so cute. And also, it's super comfortable. The fabric is like butter smooth. Before Minnow, that wasn't the case for her, but she put Minnows on and she loves it. And the girls' rash guard one piece, unisex rash guard one piece, and unisex rash guard shirts are the perfect styles for extra sun coverage, which is huge. We're very grateful for that. The suits are easy to put on and easy to take off with just the right amount of stretch. The premium fabric keeps sand out of the lining. Ember has been very happy about that. And check this out. All Minnow suits have UPF 50 plus protection, blocking 98% of UVA and UVB rays. Thank you, Minnow. It's truly the best. And such classic looks too. Minnow's collection allows the whole family to coordinate. So family pics, here we come. We're gonna be looking so stinking cute, okay? Go to shopminnow.com and enter code SHOPMINNOW15 at checkout to receive 15% off your first order. That's shopminnow.com, code SHOPMINNOW15 for 15% off. Okay, so on to the first bonfire of these 3 episodes. So Ashley sees Grant first, and she sees him telling Natalie he doesn't think it's going to work out. It's not meant to be anymore. Cut to them making out, cut to the shower scene. I'm
so gnarly.
Devastated for Ashley, but my God, the victory I felt when that woman looked at Mark and was like, honestly, I feel relief.
Yeah, kind of like, I know this is what's happened. And then she said, if it's this easy and this fast for him, like, I know he's been doing this like multiple times.
Of course, and he's on camera.
Yes.
So it's like, she's like, who am I to think that this hasn't been happening? And she knows.
Yeah.
In her heart, that's why they're there. That's why she hasn't been able to trust him. And he keeps going back to like, dude, it was like the first month and there was a hookup. And then like, I've been faithful to you for a year and a half. It's like, no. She knows that some shadiness has been going on for
100%.
sure. And she also says, she's like, he had a beautiful fiance that was the mother of his child, and he didn't deserve her, and he doesn't deserve me. So also then too, you're like, okay, what's that story about? So then obviously Ashley knows details and is maybe engaging with the mother of his child when his kiddo, maybe during the drop-offs or whatever, and is like, she seems great. And she's probably grinding about that too, where it's like, this woman seems amazing.
And I gotta say, more than anything, I hope this is a lesson for Ashley.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like, Grant's a lost cause. Grant needs so much therapy, it's not even real.
No, I know.
But my thing is like with Ashley, she seems like a good person, but she does seem like someone who has a type that's toxic. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like for her, I hope that she can walk away from this going, what have I learned? And not look for just the same Grant, but hopefully won't cheat this time. But like you know what I mean? Like, let me make some changes to my picker.
Well, like what Mark said, he said, relief comes from knowing rather than fantasizing doom. And it's where you start creating what your next relationship is now. Yeah. He's like, start creating what you want now. And he's like, you now need to learn who are you and what do you want?
Yes.
So I really hope that for Ashley.
Yes, 100%.
And then Grant sees Ashley, of which she is, I forget who she's talking to. I think it's Eric. And she's saying, I was single for so long and I wasn't in a good headspace. And then the universe, like, why do you give me this piece of shit man? Yeah. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he doesn't deserve me. And Grant is pissed.
And I love all the guys too. The other guys are like rubbing his knee. Like, I'm so sorry, man. You don't deserve that.
And I'm like, this man just went and had sex with somebody. Okay, 2 days in, the dude went and had sex with somebody, and he has the audacity to see her saying that, by the way, she said this after she saw the first bonfire where he was being shitty.
Yes.
And he has the audacity to be like...
You're not a piece of shit, dude. They were like saying that. You're not a piece of shit, dude. It's like, you're the definition of a piece of shit. Like, listen, I can be friends with someone who's like not a good relationship person, does bad things in a relationship. I don't really know like what's going on in their intimacies, but then you find out later that person's a cheater and you're like, yeah. But like, you can still like care for someone as a friend and be like, you're a shitty person.
Be like, what you did was
treated
terrible.
Her horrible.
Yes.
But it's like something about the frat bro vibe where it's like, you can't, no matter how badly your friend treats someone, you can't admit that like it's so shitty. You just gotta be like, dude, honestly, bro, she sucks.
Can you even believe that?
It's just
and
crazy.
He's like, I'm not a bad guy. He's rambling about how good of a person he is, a good father, a good whatever. And he's like, she's not letting me love her. And and then he starts spiraling where he's like, she's gonna see what I did and then she'll be over it. And then Mark says to him, oftentimes we're so afraid to face something, and when we face it on the other side, there's relief. Are you ready for relief? And I want to talk to Mark about this because there is a glimmer in Mark's eye, and I don't know if he'll be able to share it, but I'm like, Mark, he's looking at Grant, and he, in this bonfire, did not go like, well, you just had sex with somebody else, and you're talking about being a good guy. He's looking at him going like, are you ready to find relief?
Was it this bonfire or the next one where he said your actions don't match your words?
The next bonfire. But in this one, it was almost like, and I want to talk to Mark, it was almost like Mark was like, this guy needs to fully just be himself so that it's done. So that Ashley is set free.
Exactly.
Like, go ahead, Grant, go find relief. Because you're still not being really who you are. And Mark's so good at reading people. Like, I can guarantee he's like, this guy is wearing still a mask, even though he's doing this shit.
Well, and this is where the switch up really happens with Grant. This is where Grant goes from like feeling kind of maybe a little guilty about the cheating to where now he's like, Ashley has a lot of resentment. And he keeps saying stuff like, I'm tired of being the only one like choosing us and fighting for us.
What are you
and like
about?
All her resentments. And you know what I mean? Like, it's really weird. It's like, she's resenting me for all my cheating and that's messed up. And it's like, it's really like delusional. Like I would say this, like there's the like gaslighty cheater thing. Yes. But then there's like the delusion of like, I'm like, it's her resentments that are the problem in our relationship, not my actions. So it's really weird. I don't think I've ever really seen that all the way like that, or maybe just
the
beyond, just bizarre that I'm like, where are you getting all this? And what I get from it all, to be honest with you, is like mama's boy to the millionth, where mama never told him he did anything wrong. And now he's 25 or whatever. And in his mind, when he was young and he would do shitty things,
It was
cheat on
everyone else's
girlfriends,
fault.
ruin someone's life, screw over a friend.
Yeah.
It was always, well, he's this way or she's this way. She doesn't deserve you.
He cheated on his high school senior girlfriend, and his mom was like, well, it's because we never liked her.
And she never deserves
She
you anyway.
didn't deserve
You're going to be amazing one
Instead
day.
of being like, let me sit down and figure out why
Exactly.
my son is cheating and break this down with
And
him.
even later in the second bonfire, when Mark does say, the actions don't match, you see him get like irritated by that.
Oh yeah.
Like he doesn't like being called out, even if his
Even a little
actions are obviously wrong. It wasn't even like debatable. He's really not used to being told he's wrong. It's really interesting. I was like, whoa.
Well, this is then when Mark introduces the Temptation Haven, which is such a fun twist.
It's amazing.
Where this is a tent, a glamping style tent, where there are no cameras in it. So no one will be able to see what goes down in the tent. By the way, they don't let them know that they're still going to be mic'd, so we can still hear what's going on. You just can't see it, but you can assume by the groaning and the panting and the moans when someone is hooking up in there. But the big twist is that when, let's just say, a guy is on the guy's side, goes into the Temptation Haven, a red light goes off on the women's side. So
Spiral City.
I mean, that is pure torture, because then it's like you don't know if it's your person in there. You're just absolutely spiraling. And later on, they ended up using this in like a petty way where they were just running in and out, it just goes to show you where my mind is. The second they brought up the Temptation Haven, I was like, oh, I'd be running in there every day. Just in there, standing in there with some guy, just to have the red light.
Go back and forth every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
to make you go, my God, this is insane. Everyone's having sex 7 times.
But then back at the women's villa, Ashley comes in. She announces that she is officially single. She is done. Danny gives her flowers, and she's sitting with Danny and Logan, her boyfriends, as she calls them. And she's like, hey, they all have to go on a date the next day. And she's like, hey, I'm in a certain headspace. Danny, would you go on the date with me? Logan says he was salty at first when she asked Danny out, but he's like, listen, she needs a friend to confide in, but she's more drawn to me. Logan is just a different version of Grant. So I fear for Ashley.
And you can tell she's maybe the most attracted to him.
Yes.
He's a little bit more like mysterious and cool guy, player energy.
Yeah,
Danny's
he's
the sweet.
tall, he's hot.
Danny's giving more like, golden retriever energy, sweet, complimentary, picking her up when she's down energy. But you could tell that her like kind of maybe slightly toxic, attractive picker says, ooh, I do
worry
like this, though.
that she's going to end up going with Logan.
I do feel like maybe once the Danny thing's run its course and she kind of maybe gets over the cheating more, she'll be
And
drawn.
I think Logan's more into her. I mean, obviously she's a beautiful, wonderful woman, but I think he's even more into her because she's not paying as much attention to him and is paying more attention to Danny.
And even
I think
after the date later, they spend more time together. They do the tent for a minute. She takes him into the tent. That's when Logan starts getting more jealous. In the beginning, he was a little bit like, oh, I'm cool. Mm-hmm. Now he's getting more jealous, which means he's going to start kind of putting it on her, I bet, over the next couple days. So it's interesting how that transformation happens.
I fear for Ashley with this one. Well, at the same time, the men go back to their villa, and Grant literally runs into the arms of Natalie and is like, forget everything I said. Come with me to the Temptation Haven, pulls her into the Haven immediately, and you're hearing moaning and the lights go on. And the women back at their villa are like, we've been done with the bonfire for 2 hours and there's already a red light going off.
Yeah.
And Grant's in there just moaning away.
Yeah.
I mean, what a scumbag.
Top level.
What a scumbag. So they end up going on their dates. Danny and Ashley go on a date together. And you know what? I think Danny's mustache threw me off. And the fact that he's 22, because I was like, I don't know about this guy. I don't think he's serious about Ashley. The more I see of Danny, the more I like of Danny.
I think he really likes her.
He seems like a very genuine guy. I might bite my tongue later for saying that, but he seems like a very genuine sweetheart.
He does, but it's like I do also think he's not playing it as cool as he should. And I don't think he realizes that he's going a little over the top, and he's showering her with all the things that she needs right now to get over. But I do think it's going to bite him. I do think she's kind of there's a little friend vibe energy, I don't know.
Well, Grant and Natalie go on a date, and it just made me giggle because the first thing that he says is he's like, tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah. So the one thing I will say about Grant and Natalie, like clearly she likes him more than he likes her in regards to like a relationship-y vibe.
Yeah.
But I will say the sexual chemistry
it's crazy.
Gnarly.
I know, they have crazy sexual chemistry.
Like when they just sit and stare at each other.
I know.
Now it might just be her that she just kind of does that or has that kind of.
She has that like
she has
beautiful
the zhuzh
energy.
where you just she can
yeah.
develop chemistry. You know, because certain people can kind of develop chemistry with anyone if they want to.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just they have, but either way, on screen, it's low key a movie. You're just kind of like, this is nuts. When they sit there and stare at each other, it's like, where's the director?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, and then they go back to the house. They're macking.
Yeah.
But then the red light goes off on the men's side because
Right.
Ashley takes Danny into the house.
And this is where I felt bad for Danny.
I know,
because she
Danny
just
goes,
used him to get back at her
I
boyfriend.
know, and
Which if that happened to me, that's when I'd be like, I'd just take a step back.
And Danny's like, we're not even gonna kiss.
Yeah, and she's just like, no, I'm just using you to make him anxious, and it's just like, oh.
If I was Ashley, I would have like grabbed, Shante and be like, let's go into the thing together.
Exactly. But
Me
she's
and
like
me and my
openly
friends.
using him, and I feel like Logan probably low-key looks at that and sees like,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, as that happens, then Grant's like, revenge,
Right.
and grabs Natalie and goes
And has
back
sex
into
for
the
the
temple.
third
Dude, I mean,
time.
this
Yeah.
man is out of control. He wakes up the next morning and he's like, I think it's Ashley.
Yeah. He does the exact same thing again.
He wakes up the next morning and literally is just like,
It's the post clarity thing.
yeah.
The PNC.
He wakes up and he asks the guys, I really like Natalie, but like, I would forgive Ashley.
Yeah.
And I said, sir,
For what?
for what?
I'm so confused.
Forgive Ashley for what? And he's like, yeah, I'd marry Ashley one day. And the guys are like, the guys
are now kind of going like, yeah.
well, they're laughing.
Yeah, they're like, what?
No, they're literally laughing at him. But then they're like, well, dude, she called you a piece of shit. So,
Which is so much worse than having sex with a random girl that you
On
met
camera.
3 times.
But this man is off his rocker. And then when they go to the bonfire in the final
and they show the
episode,
video to Ashley. That was iconic.
oh, well, first Grant sees Ashley and Ashley's telling Danny that she likes him. He affirms that he likes her. Then they go into the Temptation Haven and you hear, oh, by the way, they do end up kissing. We didn't say that. So
Yes.
So Danny and Ashley do end up going for a second time into the Haven.
It's giving smooch, though. It's not giving, like,
They smooch. But Grant looks like he's going to puke.
Yeah,
okay?
you can't believe it.
And he's like, she's looking at that guy like she loves him. And then all of a sudden he goes, I don't know whether to feel happy for her or disgusted. And I'm like, I'm so done with this man. I don't know enough languages to say I'm done with this man.
Yes.
Like an endless amount. And he's like, but I don't feel relief. I guess I just feel confirmed that maybe we're not meant to be. And I'm like, say something that makes sense.
She saw you cheat, and now she's trying to get some semblance of her
it's
soul
also
back.
just
And
like-
then you're like, I don't know, man.
It's also just like those, say something that makes sense. Say something that makes sense. You're doing this bullshit thing where you're trying to play all the parts.
Yes.
You don't want to get hated by the audience. You don't want to be the bad guy, but you also want to keep having sex with Natalie, but you also want to keep having sex with Ashley. You don't want to act too vulnerable, so you won't say that you're devastated, but you won't fully say that you feel relief. Like, what are we doing? You want to be with Natalie? You want to be with Ashley? What are we doing? I was literally, I was absolutely fuming. And then that's when Mark said there's a gap between what you're saying and what your actions are.
Yeah.
And Mark then lets everybody know the Haven's gone. But just as a heads up, in this next episode, you're going to be able to record a 30-second video to your partner, but you don't have to. And I pray that Grant records the most ridiculous video ever for Ashley.
I'm willing to forgive you.
And Ashley doesn't record one for him.
Yes.
So that when he opens that box, that there's nothing inside. There's no recording. Make me feel, and then he's gonna go straight to Natalie and have sex with Natalie.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it's clockwork. And then Ashley ends up at the bonfire seeing Grant. She sees him macking with Natalie. She sees them doing the Temptation Haven and the moaning and the does that feel good for you? And then she hears Grant in the ITM saying, I'm just wondering if Ash and I are going to make it out here, because if she could just let go of that resentment and hear me out with all the things that need to change, that she needs to put the work into, I'd marry her one day. And all the girls are laughing.
They're like, is he insane?
The girls are girling. They're having their moment where they're like, what movie are we in right now?
Yeah.
Everyone's cracking up.
Can't believe it.
Can't believe it. The audacity of, there's a lot of things that if she's willing to put the work into, I'd consider marrying her. It's like, who made you king? You absolute idiot.
I mean, listen, it's a strategy. If you're a bad person and you want to cheat a bunch, you know, you're like, if I'm going to go for broke here, if I just make them feel horrible, gaslight them so bad, it's a strategy that
the most
might
toxic
work.
strategy
you know what
ever.
I mean? Like it's a horrific strategy, but a strategy nonetheless. It's like so confusing. You're like, oh, maybe it is, but you know, it's like it's clearly worked for him in the past. That's kind of the energy I'm getting. It's like he's used it with either her or other people.
Well, that's what she said. He always does the same thing. She goes, he does the same thing, same song and dance. And I loved, she goes, I have no words left for this child.
I loved it.
And Mark then says, what do you think he's thinking? And that's when Ashley says his words don't match his actions.
Yeah.
He may be a good person, but he's not a good boyfriend. I found it so interesting that Ashley
both
said his words don't match his actions, which is interesting because I think as the viewer, we're not necessarily seeing that as much because we're seeing a lot of his actions.
But based on the thing is him going like, you know, I want to be with her and we can move past this. And then like the actions
I'm just
are the
saying,
opposite.
if that's what both of them say, it just goes to show you that even as the viewer, we're not seeing it even as bad as it is. Like, you know, this guy's just a talking... They're cutting out, obviously, this guy's a talking head, probably going off about, you know, what he believes and how he'll be there for her. And is just like on a roll and then does the complete opposite. If they're both saying that, you know it's bad.
Yeah, there's lots of talks by the fire that they're just chatting about, being like, yeah, dude, I just don't know why she won't accept, because he was saying weird shit like she won't accept my love and stuff. I was like, what? He may go down for me as of right now as like one of my top 3 vendettas. Like, he triggers me so bad. He may be like top 3 of all reality television guys that I can't stand. I don't think I've ever seen where it's like the cheating happens, but I still want to be with you thing. Like we've seen the cheating happen, but then by that point it's kind of like I've moved on energy. So at least it's like there's some consistency with the actions and the words.
Yeah.
But to him, to every time he has sex with Natalie, to kind of wake up and go, I want to be with Ashley is so wild.
I just pray at their final meetup that
it's like Groundhog's Day.
That she tramples him. Yeah. I pray that he comes in and is like, I still want to be with you, even though, but I feel terrible then because okay, I'm going to predict something right now. He tells Natalie that he wants to be with her.
Yeah.
Okay. At the last episode, he's going to tell Natalie he wants to be with her. And then the second he goes to like the final meeting of him and Ashley, he's going to do a 180 on Natalie and tell Ashley, actually, now that you're sitting in front of me, I want to be with you and I want to make this work. So he'll screw over Natalie. And I pray, and I don't know how Ashley will be. I think she seems completely over it.
Yeah.
But I pray that he's like, can we be together? And she tramples him and laughs in his face, and then I pray that he tries to go back to Natalie and Natalie laughs in his face, and now I hope that Natalie and Ashley are best friends. That's my hope and prediction.
That would be ideal. That would be ideal.
But speaking of some wild sex choices,
Brion time,
let's talk about Brion and Shante. But first, we need to take another quick pause. Family, so seeing the beach on Temptation Island has been getting me excited for summer. School is almost out, but we want our kiddo to keep having these learning opportunities through those months and fun activities. So we will be continuing to use OutSchool. OutSchool is an online learning platform that empowers kids ages 3 to 18 to learn on their own terms with the widest variety of teachers, topics, and classes to suit any interest. They offer interactive small group classes that are fun and social, video classes that can be taken anytime, one-on-one tutoring, and clubs that connect learners around their favorite topics. So we started using OutSchool numerous months ago as a way to help supplement what Ember was learning in her classroom because she needed a little extra help with some subjects. And not only, okay, listen up when I say this, not only did the math, writing, and reading comprehension classes she took on OutSchool help her so much, She also had so much fun with them because of the exciting way that they were teaching that she ended up asking to start taking other classes and clubs that OutSchool offers too, like a Roblox coding class, a Magic Treehouse book club, which she loves, a cartooning class, and more. Family, you need to check them out. The variety of classes they offer is unreal, and they're so fun. Ember's obsessed. It's so cool as a parent to have this like wide variety of amazing things she can learn that can help her. I mean, it's
huge.
They're truly incredible.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
OutSchool is also great for homeschooling resources, fun activities to provide enrichment. The list goes on. And like Jess said, summer's coming up, and OutSchool offers online summer camps that Ember is super, super excited about.
She is.
They have fun and educational summer camps open now for enrollment, both week-long and 6-week-long camps. And it's amazing because camps can also help prevent summer slide and learning loss, provide structure during summer months while making learning fun and engaging, offer socialization, and with OutSchool, the flexibility to work around summer travel and activities.
Which is huge. And it's so cool. Ember definitely will be doing the Roblox game design summer camp. They also have a beginner's guide to aeronautics. They have a forensics one. They have a painting camp and more. OutSchool is just incredible. Their educators are top notch. They are top notch. We're so grateful that we found them. Couldn't recommend them more. If you want to try OutSchool, you can now get up to $20 off your child's first class, camp, or tutoring session, which they're amazing, for a limited time. This exclusive discount is only available when you go to outschool.com/momdad and use code MOMDAD at checkout. That's outschool.com/momdad and use code MOMDAD for up to $20 off your child's first class or tutoring session on OutSchool. OutSchool. Take charge of their future. All right, let's talk Brion and Shante.
Yeah.
So, while Shante is writing in glow paint on another man's arm, I love Brion.
Oh my God.
Brion.
It's like she's bewitched.
Well, I don't blame her because I know we had talked in last episode where I was like, Brion's an interesting character to me because it's like he's happy for Shante getting out there.
Yeah.
And it's like he's this guy who's, wanting to explore all these sexual desires, but he's straightforward about it. I take back this man, it is... We'll get there later.
Before we saw everything too, it was like the honesty too. There was something about his honesty that you were kind of like, at least like he's kind of saying everything he feels, even if it's painful. There's kind of this interesting, like, I wonder where he's going to go with all of this. It was kind of, you know what I mean? It was just like Grant and Tyler were kind of much more shady hiding.
Yes.
And so it kind of alluded to like maybe there's something to this kind of brutal honesty that before we knew what was going to happen.
Not treating Shante well or like how she should be treated, but you're kind of like, well, at least I guess he's being honest.
At least there's nothing hidden here. You know what I mean?
No, I am hard off now because the way that this man is like, I will do anything and can do anything and have the right to do anything. And honestly, Shante, because she's a good woman, will just open arm, like welcome me back in. And it's like, this man is not treating this woman. It is okay. So we start off when Brion is going back to the men's villa and the new women come back, one of them being Angel, who he has his eyes on, but then he's also cozying up with Alex, telling her she's incredible. Alex, who had initially been connected to Lino, is like, I have a way more intense sexual chemistry with Brion. And then we hear Brion in the ITMs talk about his threesome fantasy.
Which he's been talking about nonstop. This guy is like a threesome Harvard grad. It's just like
more obsessed.
Does this guy have a thesis on threesome? I've never seen anything like it in my life. He talks about it like he's a neuroscientist whose passion is neuroscience. It's bizarre because it's like he's talking about it like it's his number one passion in the world. He talks about threesomes.
Threesome conventions.
Yeah, threesome conventions. He's a part of the threesome fan club. When he watches porn, it's only threesomes. Like his identity is threesomes. Like when he retires and go to a swingers, retirement club, he's got threesomes only.
Threesomes only. But then he specifically names. He's like, I'm thinking Amaya, Angel, Courtney, Alex. We're going to hit both of that. He says something like double yams. It is out of control. And as he's saying this in ITMs, Alex is like bringing him into his bedroom and takes him into the bathroom. Nothing happens from what we're aware
But they're
of.
definitely like testing the waters.
But and I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the only reason something didn't happen that night when Alex pulled him into the bathroom is because he wants a threesome.
Yeah.
He didn't want to have sex with Alex solo.
Yeah.
And he talks about that later. He's like, no, it's intimacy. It's intimacy. I'm not going to have sex with someone solo. Only threesomes.
Yeah.
And so he genuinely, I think the only reason wasn't because he was being quote unquote strong-willed and deciding I will not have sex with Alex tonight.
Yeah.
It's because there was no threesome offered.
Yes.
Because then in the ITMs, he's just like, well, maybe Alex and Courtney.
Yeah.
Well, they end up having the first bonfire, these two. And Shante sees Brion first, and Brion is talking to Alex, and he's like, am I with the right person? I'm seeing these girls who are sexual and emotional and supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And then she sees him and Alex go behind the bathroom doors and hear Alex say, I want you, and it cuts off. So she doesn't know if they've hooked up at this point or not. And Shante, what she says that was like, so like, yes, go off of this, is she's like, I just don't understand. He's saying these girls in the house can support him the way I do, but like, where's the guarantee in that? You met these women 48 hours ago and you're saying they can support you the same way that Shante can support you, like who you've been in a relationship with for years.
Right.
Okay.
And it's just because one of the girls at one point said, like, maybe you could find someone who could do both. And he's like, what?
And he's like, all these women could support me the same as Shante could.
I always thought you had a sex girl and a wife vibe. They can't be the same. It was just like...
And she's saying, too, she's like, I just don't get it because we have great sex.
Right.
It's the threesome thing.
Yeah, you can't be two people, unfortunately.
You can't be two people. He's like, Shante, if I could clone you...
we could make it work.
Then we could make this work.
But I have strict threesome needs.
Strict threesome needs. And Mark, I loved this. Mark then said to her, he's like, hey, he affirmed her because he's like, I love how calm and mature you're handling this. But if there's any challenge in your growth here, it's allowing yourself to tap into those emotions, whether you need to cry,
vent,
to scream,
whatever.
to laugh right now. But I love how he was respectful. He wasn't just like, hey, you need to start showing some emotions here. He's like, no, I think it's incredible the fact that you're able to handle this so maturely. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we need to realize what Brion's doing. Just like how at the last bonfire, Shante made a comment about the women, and Mark's like, it's not about the women, it's about what your boyfriend is doing. So let's 100%. Tap into that. Then at the bonfire, Brion sees Shante, and it's her telling a group of men that, Brion's a super sexual person, but my God, like, when will it end?
Right.
And that she's like wanting him to connect more to the emotional side, how he uses humor and doesn't take things seriously and laughs off stuff. And Brion's response, I think it's refreshing for me because I'm working all of this out. It's like, I'm feeling more connected with some of these girls here than my own girlfriend. I'm asking questions here and I'm on the right path because I'm working on what she doesn't like.
And he said, I feel closer to some of these women than I do her. Dude, you guys have been together for years. Like, that's actually wild.
Right. But I also think, I don't even know if I buy that. And he talks about how he grew up in a tough house and he used comedy to deflect.
But to me, where I get from that, to be honest with you, is that the energy I'm getting, he's able to do whatever he wants, and Shante caters to him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to really ask her questions. Nope. He doesn't really have to get to know her very well. No. And that she kind of just follows him around and he's able to just kind of live his life and like food's cooked, house is clean, you know what I mean? Just everything's taken care of. And she's basically like mothers him and he's like, cool. And he doesn't have to work at it. Yeah. Versus in the villa, he's having to work. He's have to ask questions, connect, So I think it's just like a massive, just taking advantage thing where it's like, I don't really ask her any questions because she just kind of does whatever I want anyways. That's the energy I'm getting.
No, I think you're right. And I also think too, Mark says to him, he said, the managing of not feeling an emotion has kept you from the answers. Yeah. And it's like, he's not allowing himself to get there emotionally and actually see what's going on with him and Shante. And I just, man, with Brion, if I was Shante, like my heart really hurts for Shante because watching all of this, I totally get why Shante has stuck around, because the way that Brion will like twist things, how he was saying, he's seeing this and he's going, you know what? Even though he's messing around with other women, he's like, you know what? I'm happy because I'm doing what she wants me to do. I'm opening myself up. So honestly, like, she should be thrilled. And we see that even more in the next bonfire. But it's just the twisting of like basically conversationally getting away with anything he wants to do by then putting a spin on it of like, well, you know what? I'm actually really though, what I'm doing is going to benefit you in the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not. You're just
let's talk about this.
With,
chronologically, there's not much that happens other than him having the threesome and then the other bonfire. So like,
threesome and then a date.
Threesome and a date, but I kind of want to combine all these things. So like, let's talk about it, because I want to combine, because it's like everything's kind of this like connected. So it's hard to kind of go in chronological with him. I'd almost rather just talk about everything he did and then talk about the concepts, because they all kind of run into each other. So he has the threesome.
Yeah, so he ends up having a threesome with Alex and Courtney.
Which almost felt like, for the first time ever, like, was this like producer encouraged? Because it was like out of nowhere, they show up like a birthday gram. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like, we weren't seeing this happen. And then all of a sudden it's like they show up and they're like, hello, we're here for the threesome. You know what I mean? It was almost like, did they have a conversation off camera? And they're like, we should do this?
They're like, we have a plan to crack him.
Right.
And so they both go into his bathroom and they're like, do you need to shower?
Right.
And so then they both start showering together in the bathroom. And then he says, I like to watch before I go into it. And we hear moaning. By the way, my caption said rhythmic wet slapping.
Yes.
That's what my caption said.
That's exactly what it said.
But we're hearing women moaning. And I still can't figure out if he actually
like joined in or was
he just
having fun in the corner. Like, I don't know.
Touching himself in the corner with them. I don't
know, because it was kind of like...
Because when he described it later...
It didn't sound like...
I'm like, I don't know if... I think you watched and...
That's what, yeah, and then he
pleasured yourself.
And even the way he kind of kept saying I had a threesome, it kind of gave like, you're convincing yourself it was a threesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was something about it that felt off in regards to his kind of like saying it. But so he has a threesome, and then right after he has the threesome, by the way, he just gets out and goes to bed, and the ladies are like, okay, bye. And then he immediately starts talking about how he can get two other girls in to do another threesome. Yeah,
he's like, now Amaya and Angel are next.
He's like, if I can kind of, maximize the threesome numbers, you know what I mean? That would be great. But what was interesting is later on, he goes like, I got it out of my system. I think that was good. So that was really interesting. He kind of just turned a crazy corner and was all of a sudden just like, box checked.
He was saying that he's like, in the past, that's felt insatiable. But I think because I love Shante, I checked the box and now I won't need it anymore.
Right.
And I can't quite figure out if it's because he actually has never had a threesome before and he and he was saying like, yeah, tons of threesomes. But in all actuality, that was his first. And he just wanted to like really say he's had a threesome so he can like point back to a time. Part of me almost thinks, if anything, he wanted to have a threesome. He's not going to have it in the Temptation Haven because like he says, what's the point of even being here? You're here for the wrong reasons if you're going to hide it.
Right.
I think he wanted to have a threesome on television so there was video evidence,
like credibility,
that then he could say, like, cool, I've had a threesome. And by the way, you can watch it on TV.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was because like the next morning...
You know what I mean? It feels a little bit like that to me.
Because the next morning he came out to the guys and he goes, how was your guys' night last night? And they're like, good. He's like, well, I had a threesome. And they're like, oh, whoa, really? He's like, yeah, it was epic. You know what I mean? So it was like he was using it as a bragging thing right away. And
so then the fact then too, where he's then saying like you mentioned, I got it out of my system and now I'm good to go. I don't need it anymore. And it was like, for real?
Right. And it was super interesting.
Because by the way, sir, I would like to remind you that in ITMs right before your threesome, you said, it's interesting because, I want traditional things like a wife, kids, etc. But I've always been really comfy in the polyamorous lifestyle. And I'm like, what you were serving before, okay, which by the way, I would like to mention as well, connected to this, he's talking about being comfortable in the polyamorous lifestyle. And he's like, yeah, multiple women, da da da.
Yeah.
And then following the threesome, he asks Angel out on a date because he says, I can't ask Alex or Courtney out on a date because I just had a threesome with them. And if I take them out on the date, it'll be too intimate. They'll think something of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sir, if you're part of the poly lifestyle, what are you talking about? This is aftercare.
I think he's,
okay?
I think he's more referring to
you just want to be able
open or just one-sided openness.
But you're just, you're exactly a one-sided situation. But it's like you're saying these things and it's like, no. You just want to be able, again, to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it. And you wanted to have this threesome to check it off. I don't believe you've had one before.
The way that went down
now you've checked it off. But you're going to go back to Shante. You're going to say, hey, I've checked this box and now I'm good with just you. Yeah, right. You're going to want to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it sexually.
I completely agree.
Because what you're going to find out about next is something called an orgy.
Yeah.
You're going to find out about, or a foursome.
Right, there's more than 3.
And then it's like, oh my God.
Right.
Now I'm going to check that off the box.
But what, yeah. So
or a
then,
sex club or something.
And then it was like, we really, because like, his whole thing's been like, I'm super honest. But then, because then he exposes himself. Because then he goes, girls love when you're just over the top honest. Because there's kind of this like, whoa, he's not hiding anything. And he's kind of like, it's almost like a danger thing. So it's interesting how it's like what seemed to be early on in the episodes, kind of like maybe a redeemable side of him was like the honesty. You're realizing now he uses it against her and as like a weapon of like, if I'm honest, you can't catch me with anything.
Exactly.
So there's something actually you love about that, which we agree with if you're not doing bad shit all the time, right?
And surprise, you're not honest because you end up taking Angel on a date.
Yes.
You're lathering.
And she saw you, by the way, from a mile away.
And I loved it. I love Angel was like,
She's like,
he's lathering her up with oil and he's like, you got to be a Christian if I date you. And she's like, well, but you said that you were super into threesomes. And he's like, yeah.
And you're like live cheating on your girlfriend.
He goes, yeah. And she goes, I don't know. I guess like where I was raised being a Christian, they weren't talking about threesomes. He's like, well, my version of Christianity is different from your version of Christianity. God knows who he made and what my desires are.
He made me with a threesome gene.
He goes, and by the way, I might see things about your Christianity that I have a problem with.
Right.
And then she says, so when was the last threesome you had? And he said, oh, long time. And then in ITMs, he goes, I'm not always a good Christian. Yeah. So here's the deal.
And then this man does she was asking a lot of questions and it was off-putting. So finally someone calls him out and he's not like Mr. Honest. He's not Mr. Cool with it. He's like, I don't like this girl. She asks a lot of questions.
Yeah, because she has some
She's like, you know who doesn't ask a lot of questions? Shante.
Yeah.
And I love that about her.
And it's like Angel's actually asking very good questions. Like, hold up one second. I just have a question about this,
I think I like Shante because I can get away with more shit. And this girl wouldn't let me get away with anything. She's annoying.
But the fact, like you said, that he is now, what we were discovering is he's using this honesty as a way to be like, well, you can't catch me if I'm being honest. But when push comes to shove, he does lie.
Yes.
When it won't go well for him.
Of course, because he's used to getting away with it all the time.
Because he knows that if he tells Angel that he had a threesome 5 hours ago,
he won't be able to
he can tell by her energy right now that she's not going to be down and he won't be able to hook up with her.
Exactly, 100%.
So 100%. There's that. Okay, more to say specifically then about their bonfires, their second bonfire. Yes. But we got to take one last quick pause, family. So, family, watching Temptation Island is making me want to go on vacation. It's true. It sounds amazing. And if I'm hitting up a vacay, the wardrobe will be coming from Quince. Their pieces are easy, elevated, and somehow make me feel more put together without even trying. I am legit mind blown every single time I go on their website because of the vast variety of stunning luxury pieces that they offer with such incredible prices. Like, wow. I just did a little summer shopping from Quince and I am currently living for their European linens right now. I'm talking about 100% European linen shorts and dresses from $30. They're so breathable and elegant. I also got a pair of their European linen patch pocket wide leg pants and I will be ordering another pair immediately because the cut is so cute and they also look good with everything that I wear them with. I also got this linen strapless dress that makes me feel very romantic. I love it so much. You have to go on their website. Also, there are shoes right now for the summer. The Italian platform sandal. I could go on forever. You just got to go on their website. You will be wowed. I promise you that.
Yeah. Also, Quince is a great place to find gifts too.
Yes.
Like for Father's Day coming up. Hint, hint.
Don't you worry.
Here's the deal. The best part, everything with Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than what you'd find at similar brands. Yes, 50 to 80% less. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middlemen, Quince gives you luxury without the markup. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, premium fabrics, and finishes.
I've said this many times before, but my goodness, if I knew about Quince when I was a wardrobe stylist, it is where I would be sending all of my clients because of the variety, the elegance, timelessness, and of course, the prices. Treat your closet to a little summer glow up with Quince. Go to quince.com/momdad for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/momdad to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/momdad. Okay, before we go to the second bonfire moment with Brion and Shante, I want to mention a couple quick things. Number one, Shante did go on a date. She went with Hashim.
Yeah.
It was... she's like, it's friend. Shante
zero.
is fully
She's
locked
not into
in.
this process at all.
No, she wants to be with Brion. And what we end up seeing is there's a moment, the first time the red light goes off in the women's villa, and Taylor runs into Shantae's bedroom. And for the first time, we really see Shante open up.
Yeah.
And she is bawling in bed.
I'm afraid this is him.
She's like, I'm afraid it's him. Yeah. I love him so much. And my heart broke into 500 pieces. It was like, she loves this man and I want her to run for the hills. But like seeing her break was heartbreaking because she has been so calm through this whole process. And then you see her like when she's in the safe space of her bedroom, that it's like, this is how she really feels. And she is struggling.
Big time.
Okay. And then also wanted to mention right before the bonfire, Courtney at the men's villa checks in on Brion. And that's when he said that he'd held threesomes up so high, but now he knows like it's been on a pedestal and he's good and he doesn't need it again. And he's like, I think Shantae's going to forgive me. Like, why wouldn't she?
Right.
Which just shows you how the advantage that he takes of how generous and loving Shante is in their relationship. Yeah. And Courtney, by the way, is like, in ITM's just like, all of a sudden you're going to be fine. Like, no, you're going to be a better match for someone like me.
Yeah.
We have a similar sexual appetite, wavelength, whatever.
Yeah.
So we get to the bonfire and Brion sees Shante.
Yeah.
He sees the light go off and he sees her crying and being like, I love him. I can't, what if this is him? And for the first time for a moment, we see something that actually affects Brion.
Yeah.
Where he's not like, good for her.
Right.
He's a little bit affected. But then he said, I did have a threesome. I don't regret it. Mm-hmm. This man, the amount of times that he's like, yeah, I don't regret having a threesome. I'm like, even though you guys both agreed on the fact that you wouldn't touch somebody else.
Right.
So you're just saying, I don't care that we set these rules, that I agreed on them. I regret nothing. But he said, it didn't fulfill me. I hung it over Shantae's head for years, needing to have a threesome. And he's like, honestly, though, the pain that she's feeling, it's going to be okay because now I can give her a lifetime of happiness. So this man twisted the sobbing pain that Shante was experiencing before she even knows that he had a threesome, by the way, and is like, yeah, you know what? Ultimately, though, this pain, it's gonna help her grow, and now I'll be able to give her a lifetime of happiness because I did what I needed to do.
Well, it's just interesting. I was telling you, I was like, this guy is so
convincing,
confident in his manipulation that even I, for a moment, was watching him like, does he have a point there?
No, for
you
sure.
Know, I was like, wait a second, is he right? Because he would say stuff like, I'm glad I had this threesome so that I'm not holding it over Shantae's head. Yeah. So you're kind of like, whoa, okay. So he's glad that he cheated on her so that he doesn't make her feel bad about not living up to his sexual standards. And you're kind of like, is there logic? And you're like, no, okay, no, that doesn't make any sense. And then he would be like, I'm glad I did it so that I could scratch my itch and give my love to her. And you're like, wait, is there logic? No. And then he'd be like, and she won't leave me because she's a good woman. And you're like, whoa. So it's like, it's this real like backwards, but like manipulative, mess with your mind logic, because he's complimenting the other person while doing the bad thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was even doing the thing where he's making you feel bad for me doing it. It was like, I'm complimenting how good you're going to handle all my shit.
Yes.
So it's like, it was wild to watch him have no emotion about it, zero apology for it. But then he would slide in and be like, and you know, she's going to be devastated because of my actions, but she will learn to like grow through this. And it's like, holy shit. Like this is crazy.
But that's why my heart breaks for Shante, because watching it, like I said, I get why
he can manipulate. I mean, oh my God.
Like why she's like
over
locked
time,
in with
she's
him.
like basically
Yes,
just like waiting on a hand and foot and feels bad for everything she does. And he's just has full reign to
which is why, again, I'm just praying.
I know it's like, hopefully when she sees the video,
because she keeps saying, she said, I have said that if he breaks the physical boundary, that I'm done. So I am praying that she sticks to that, because then he ends up. No
signs point to that being the truth.
By the way, Mark Wahlberg says to him, well, I sure hope you can make that case, because he's going off and Mark's like, okay.
Like,
he goes,
we're headed towards a direction.
He goes, I sure hope you can make that case. And Brion says, I don't think I'm going to need to make a case. I'm just going to apologize and she'll stay because she's a great woman. Yeah. And Mark says, that great woman's crying right now.
Right. He's like, she'll get over it.
I had chills though when Mark looked at him and goes, that great woman's crying.
But all that says to me is that they've been here a bunch of times. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, I've cheated on her, I've done this, I've done that. And she gets over it.
Yeah.
So why would this be any different?
Well, we're left on a cliffhanger with the two of them where Shantae's about to watch what Brion... I know, me too. I almost started the next episode, but I'm like trying to stay spoiler free so I don't have any like ideas. But Shante in the next episode is going to see what Brion did. And again, I am just praying that she sticks to her rules where it's like, I will break up with him. It's done. It's done.
There's no shot. 0% chance that happens.
Don't say that.
0.
I have hope. I have hope.
No hope. I'm so sorry.
I have hope. Okay. Let's move on to Taylor and Tyler. Yeah. So Taylor and Tyler and Lino and Alexa, we didn't have nearly as much. Definitely the other two couples were like by far like kind of the main characters in these couple episodes. But let's cover some Taylor and Tyler. So we start off by seeing that Tyler is still with Kay. Kim and Kay are going strong. She asks if he wants to have a sleepover. He doesn't want to kiss her yet. He's like, it's going too far. But I am feeling comfortable enough with her to start sleeping with her. And the next morning when he wakes up and he's cuddling with her, he thought, oh, my relationship's over. Yeah. By the way, he did make a comment where he said, oh, delayed gratification is the best. And last episode, I said, he gives me the vibes. He got married when he was 18, that he was raised in like a conservative Christian home where purity culture was a thing. That sounds to me like a guy who like he's had to his whole life have to have delayed gratification. So he's not like Grant out here who's immediately like, bam, having sex.
I disagree.
Really?
I think he's just smarter than those guys. Because when he gets on the mic and he starts talking about on the bonfires, he's so eloquent, so well spoken. He empathizes with Taylor. He sees the wrongdoing on both sides. He sees where she's coming from. Like, he's so convincing, and he's just really like good at this. Yeah. He's really good at
he gives me pastor energy.
Pastor politician energy. He's really good at presenting, like, to where you kind of like are like, yeah, I get it. Like, he actually has a good point there. He's not. So I think while he's saying delayed gratification is important, I think what he's saying is, I want Kay to stay on the hook, but I know if I have sex with her, that'll really paint me as the villain and destroy any credibility I have, really make me a bad guy, and also give Taylor all the ammo she needs to be like, point taken, you're a bad guy, and you're gonna have to pay for this for the rest of our relationship kind of energy. And so for me, I think he's just too smart to like, I mean, we might see him mess up, but at least lasting this far, I think he's using techniques to like know that if I go too far,
so he doesn't get painted like the villain.
Exactly. Yeah. I think he's very aware of how he looks and concerned with that.
Yeah. No, I do agree with that. I'm just saying I think the reason he's able
I don't think
to
it's
hold...
a moral issue.
No, I'm saying,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't think it's a moral issue.
Yeah.
I'm saying I think the reason he's able to hold
right.
on to it
It's
for
'cause
so
he's
long
used to
is because he
doing
was
that,
raised probably in a conservative home that was
Where
like
he
purity
had
culture,
to, sure.
where he's had to do that. So he's able
it's
to
a
do
muscle
it
he's
better.
exercised.
But I don't think he's doing it to be the good guy. He's doing it because he's able to, because he doesn't want to be painted
Right.
as the
I
villain.
think he's much more strategic.
I don't trust Tyler at all. And by the way, I do really like Kay. I think that Kay really, really likes Tyler.
Yeah.
I think she's falling more and more for Tyler.
I think Tyler's going to break her heart.
I think Tyler's going to absolutely decimate Kay's heart.
I think Tyler loves Kay because she represents everything Taylor's not.
Yes.
Because Taylor's kind of strong, kind of calls, says he has bitch tendencies, all this stuff. And I think Kay is kind of just like doe-eyed and kind of
Let's
like
have fun together.
And everything's young and fun and
Yes.
like sprightly. And so I think it's like refreshing to him.
Yes.
And so, but I'm not seeing a lot of like, I don't see him connecting with her on a deep level.
I get the vibe. No. And I think that he's going to absolutely break Kay's heart at the end of this. Or even like, let's just say they walk away together. He will.
There's no way when we look them up, they're still together.
Of all the people on this show, he's the one who I think wants to get fame the most. I think Tyler wants to be famous. He's talked about how he's trying to pursue his modeling career. That guy's here.
There's an angle here.
That guy's here to try to make himself look good and hot and wants to get famous. So I don't trust anything Tyler says, even though, like you said, he handles the bonfires
unbelievable,
beautifully.
He's fantastic at speaking.
He handles the bonfires beautifully, and he also doesn't like react and go like, "How dare Taylor?" Like whatever.
He never snaps back and goes, "Well, she's this way." That she goes, "That hurts, and it means a lot." And I understand where she's coming from, and I'm processing. That's something I'm working on. I don't want to make any impulsive decisions. Like he's very good.
I don't buy it at all.
Yeah, no, I just think it's like he's a politician. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
He's always the one crying too. He's always the one that's like fighting back tears.
I think it's full politician. I think it's full politician. But then when they have their first bonfire, Taylor sees Tyler.
Yeah.
And she sees him sleeping over with Kay.
And like doing all the really kind of romantic conversations with Kay.
But then he also sees she also sees him say that his relationship is over and he's okay with that. And this was very emotional.
Yeah.
That Taylor is like, I want this relationship so badly. I feel absolutely broken. And Mark's like, you may be feeling broken, but you are never broken. And she's like, I can't come back from this. He broke the boundaries. I don't think he loves me. What did I do? I don't feel worthy.
Yeah.
And then Mark tries to encourage her and be like, hey, do you know how amazing you are? And she goes, with all due respect, like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
When people know me, they leave. And that's my life experience, whether it's friends, lovers, family. So whoever it is will probably leave me too.
Right.
Whoever is
she
coming
says,
up.
I would leave me too. So she really starts spiraling, and it's really sad and really dark
so,
and like heart-wrenching.
It's heart-wrenching. And Mark was like, you're believing a lie. And he's like, what you're saying is like so insightful. And he encourages her and says like, hey, what you're processing is very insightful. But like, you don't have to have your story be that people want to leave me. And he said, this is going to be where your freedom lies. Tyler doesn't matter.
Right.
You do. I think it's so powerful because I think in so many just relationships, like even when we get like call home messages or when I'm talking with my friends and there's hurt and heartbreak and the other person does something that's just so devastating. And even if you're somebody who that's happened to over and over again, it's like as impossible as it feels is that it's not you.
Exactly.
It's not you. And like, this is not, they don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't their story. It's your story. Yeah. And to not then, as impossible as it feels, to not be like, it's something about me.
Yeah.
Versus like I love how he said, he goes, this isn't about Tyler. This is about you. And this is where your freedom's going to lie in this. So she basically like, she leaves that bonfire and she's like, I am a absolute single woman. Tyler sees her clip at the bonfire and she's talking about Tyler's bitch tendencies and how she'll say that with her chest till the day she dies, which I was kind of obsessed with her. She's like, yeah, he's got bitch tendencies. And he's like, it hurts, it cuts deep. And, I'm learning to feel valued and I'm going to take it on the chin and process it. I'm not going to make any decisions.
Yeah.
Handles it beautifully, like we said, which makes him where he's like, he makes me nervous because I don't believe anything that's coming out of his mouth. His relationship with Kay continues to develop. He asks her on a date. They go to the Temptation Haven, We hear them. They kiss for the first time. And they haven't done anything more than kiss that we're aware of, but they're definitely like he's riding the line.
It's a lot more intimate. Like the other guys just have sex and then have like these really kind of physically intense moments, but then they kind of pull away, versus like, Tyler's like developing like a actual relationship.
Yeah.
It feels.
And even though, again, I don't know this because I don't know his background, but I do firmly feel like he was raised super conservative, purity culture, got married young. So I think because of that, his comfortable place is relationships.
Is that like, let me get you to fall in love with me?
Yes, it's relationships. Hence, he ended his marriage and right away started a relationship with Taylor. So I think that's what he knows is relationship.
Knows is the kind of like get you to fall in the
But I don't think he wants a relationship right now. He wants to be a model and pursue his wild modeling lifestyle.
Exactly.
But he's just learning,
It's his one mode. Yeah.
It's his one mode. That's what I think. Well, simultaneously, Taylor is like, I'm single and is getting to know some of the other guys. I'm so proud of Taylor because she's like, Cody is red flags because he reminds me if he's kind of like a little bit of like a fuck boy. So she stayed away from him. I'm like, hell yes, Taylor.
Well, she's just so much more mature. She's just like she obviously has her issues, but she's just a lot more like aware of herself, aware of like.
And the guy that she ends up taking on a date is Yemen.
Yeah.
Who's amazing,
charming,
obsessed
sweet,
with him.
kind.
He's been the sparkling light of the house, keeping everyone's energy up. He's been giving her great advice, and she ends up taking him on a date. Now, my only concern is that she looks at him as more of like
a buddy,
a wise friend.
Yeah.
And I think he's falling for her. And if she breaks his heart, I'm going to be really mad.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what's going on with her. I don't think
he's
she's
my fave
into
in the
this
house.
process sexually. You know what I mean? I think she's always talking to guys about her relationship with Tyler. And they're all going, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? So she's looking for venting. She's looking for someone to kind of make her feel better. She's maybe like make her feel like sexy and kind of like pursued. But I'm getting like she's going to actually find a real connection and like leave with them energy.
I know, but I feel devastated because Yemen, like by a mile, is my favorite in the house. He is everything.
He deserves
to me.
it. He deserves
by
to
the
find
way,
somebody.
Him getting on that horse, our LA king.
Yeah.
He's like, she's Nashville,
like,
I'm
not
LA.
my thing,
he gets
but
on the
I'll try.
horse and his style is like a 10. He's got those shades on and he's like looking gorgeous on the horse, just being like, I'm an LA boy.
Like, I'll do this for you.
But he's so wonderful and warm and wise and wants to make sure everyone's always having a great time. That when they were having like the glow party moment where he's painting on her, I'm like, I think he's really starting to like her, and I'm going to be really devastated if his heart gets broken.
He doesn't give like player use her energy.
No,
he gives actually sweet relationship
He gives
vibes.
like, I'm a great friend.
Yeah.
And I make sure that everyone is always vibing and feeling good.
Like he's obviously a gym guy because he's so shredded. He's like at the gym being like, what's up? You're killing it. You know what I mean? Like,
he's so encouraging and I think he's a really good guy.
I think so too.
And so, but I'm also like you were saying, I'm getting the vibe that it's like, oh, Yemen, like she said, I trust you. I can talk to you, but I don't know if I'm feeling from her like that sexual chemistry.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I'm stressed about it. She also has a situation where when they were initially at the beginning of the episode sending home singles, Case, the guy Case has been pursuing her from the beginning, but she was chatting with some of the other guys. He sacrifices himself when they send home 2 singles. He comes running out and he's like, you know what? I'm going to send myself home because I know that Taylor is trying to process this and I might be in the way. So I'm going to send myself home. Then he comes back a day later and I was like, bro, this is a bad look. It was a bad look.
He was trying to get her to like fight
chase
for him,
after him.
or like he thought that him leaving would like keep one of the other guys around and that didn't work out. And then they were like, okay, like it was really
I know
weird.
that he was saying like, I feel bad about it and I wish I wouldn't have and I was trying to do the right thing. Maybe that's the case. But honestly, if I was one of the women, to me, I was liking his vibe. Doing that, I immediately go,
you can't handle the heat.
I just go, you're playing. I don't even think you can't handle the heat. I go, you're playing games.
I think
you're playing games because you want a reaction out of me, and then I didn't give you the reaction, and now you're coming back. Like I don't know. I don't buy it.
He saw Taylor talking to other guys, and he got jealous, and he left instead of like being like, "Oh, I'm going to be here and see how this works out." Yeah, it was.
And maybe not. Maybe he literally was just feeling overwhelmed, like he said. But to me, I would translate it as gameplay, which I'm not down with. I'm like, I don't want you to. I don't want to start a dating relationship with like you playing a game with me.
Agreed.
But what was lovely about that moment And I don't think she's into him. So I don't think she's going to go for Case.
I don't think she's really into anybody. I think she kind of had a moment of sexual attraction to the player.
To Cody,
guy,
yeah.
But then ran away.
But what I loved about it is that Mark brought Case back and then pulled her aside and he was all teary.
Yeah.
I love him so much. And he's like, I've been thinking about you all day and I just wanted you to take this moment. And there's no pressure. He's back. You can engage with him or no, but just know he came back for you.
Right. Like,
so when you talk about everyone leaving, he came back
be aware
for
of this.
you.
Yeah.
And remember this. And I was
sweet.
tears. I was like,
it's her
oh
dad,
my God.
Mark's like everyone's dad there.
And she started crying right away. And by the way, I said last episode, I feel good. I'm like, I think Taylor and Mark are going to have he's really going to help her a lot. And I feel like
she needs a hug.
They have a really special, they're like creating a special bond.
Yeah, I agree.
So, basically the second bonfire, Tyler sees Taylor. She's on a date with Yeaman talking about how she trusts him. He's putting body paint on her. He's shaking his head and he's like, well, I thought she was just going to keep talking shit, but it looks like she's actually pursuing alternatives. And
kind of makes you feel bad for Tyler in the moment. Like he's really good at this. Like that's what I'm saying.
I know.
The way he responds is so
it.
good that he's like, he kind of makes you kind of just for a moment go like, oh yeah, is he okay? Like he's very convincing.
And Mark was like, what about your connection? And he's like, well, Kay shows a lot of value. She inspires me, encourages my lifestyle. Tay wants the 9 to 5. He's like, but I did just meet Kay.
Yeah.
And Mark's like, well, does it crush you to see Taylor with someone else?
Yeah.
You get excited when you see Kay.
Yeah.
Just something to consider. And then Taylor sees Tyler. She sees his fake proposal, the date, the Temptation Haven, him kissing her, because then he publicly kissed her. They kissed in the Temptation Haven, and then he made a definite choice to kiss Kay in public.
Yeah.
When she was like, what's your rose of the date? And he's like, this. Oh, God, it was so cheesy.
Yeah, he's gonna woo her.
I was literally panicking. I was like, oh, no. But Taylor, it was interesting. And just to see kind of Taylor's growth trajectory makes me happy. Taylor's like, he's finally happy.
Yeah.
She goes, I guess he's finally happy. And she's like, honestly, that guy laughing at the cameras, I don't even know that guy. I wanted that guy, so I feel sad. And then Mark asks her, he's like, and you can tell Mark's like, let's see if we're growing here.
Yeah.
Mark's like, well, what if this is how he's learning to do that for you? And Taylor's like, no, he picked that woman out within 30 seconds. And I knew it. He said, picnic table girl.
Is
first
insane.
One, is insane. And she said, I knew it from the top.
Yeah.
And she said, he's manipulated me to feel badly about myself.
Yeah.
And now I have a new script for my life. And Mark's like, what's on the first page? And she's like, that I'm strong and beautiful and deserving. And I'm just like, yes. We love that. It makes me so happy.
Queen. Yes. 100%.
Makes me so happy for her. And I really hope that she sticks to that.
Yeah.
And when she finally sees Tyler at the end, that she's not like swayed.
Yeah.
Because you know that she really cares about him.
Yeah.
By being in the room with him, it's a different, or in the same vicinity with him, it's a different energy.
Agreed.
Okay. Lastly, we have Lino and Alexa. And to be quite frank with you, there's really not much to say because these two just need to end this process and go back to dating each other.
Because by the end she's just like he's trying to kind of talk to some girls. Just you could tell he's not even that interested. It's more like, I don't want to walk away here just being sad the whole time. So hey, I think you're pretty cool and I think you're really attractive. And then they're like, sorry, not interested. And then they're like, I just kind of like
going for all the women that are attracted to Brion.
It's just like,
and it's like,
he's just journaling the whole time. And
I was gonna say, this man has been journaling.
Oh, he's written a book.
Shout out to him. All these other guys are going and hooking up, and he every night opens that journal, and he's really taking this process seriously.
Yeah, big time. And then there's just kind of this like, like she's trying, she's like flirting every once in a while with guys, but then clearly like when she sees him struggle, she wants him back. She even says at the very end, like, I just want to be with him. I just want to end this thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You can tell they're both not loving this process.
Well,
that's what I said from the beginning was, I don't know why they're here. Neither one of them were like, I can't wait to meet some of these people and really test myself. Both were kind of like testing each other, and both were not like, yeah, I got to get off.
Well,
so it's just a really...
I need to go back on what I said, because first recap, I said, I think she actually isn't attracted to him.
Yeah.
but she's like, oh, I should be with him, but she's trying to figure out how to end it. I think I was wrong. I think the initial energy of her where she was like more psyched to start this process made me think, oh, she's needing to get her rocks off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think maybe at the very beginning, it was like something about this could be exciting, but I think maybe the energy that I was getting from her, which was kind of this like, even though she says she wants to marry him, this unease, I think I was translating the unease as she doesn't actually want to be with him, but I think the unease is actually all this shame she's carrying.
Yes.
And I think Mark's really digging into that with her, that like that's kind of more what I was actually feeling the whole time, is that she has this sense of guilt and this sense of shame that she's carrying. And in their first bonfire, Alexa sees Lino and he's talking to Mia and he's saying like, I'm always the one like trying to make her better, putting my career aside. Like, what am I getting? I have to open myself back up. Put myself back out there. And Alexa's like, he sounds like he's done.
Yeah.
And but her immediate reaction is, what did he see at the bonfire that I did that made him feel that way? And Mark is like, your entire life is taking care of other people. You have like the most noble career. She's a labor and delivery nurse. It's like your existence is taking care of other people. The fact that you immediately went to, what did I do that made him feel this way? And he's like, you need to take care of you now. You need to not feel guilty about this anymore. And I think that's what I was feeling.
It's interesting though, because I just, to your point earlier, I do feel like though it's both people that want to be with each other who are just feeling frustrated about a couple things.
Yeah.
And so they're both going to kind of feel that way about watching them interact with anyone and do the, because like they both don't really want to be there.
They don't want to be there.
And I think they just shouldn't be here. Like that's the thing to me, is it's like, I would be concerned about you, and Lino seems to be concerned about her, and it's like they both just need to go like, hey guys, this probably wasn't the right move for you. Probably should have gone to some counseling.
But you know what? At the same time, I don't know, because I think
maybe a little therapy, a little counseling instead of this show. Like this show kind of works for the other couples.
Yeah,
you guys like just needed to talk to somebody.
Part of me thinks that maybe at the end of this, there's going to be like a really decisive feeling, because it's like maybe the reasons that we haven't gotten where we've wanted to get isn't because we want to maybe be with other people, but it's because we have our own internal stuff that's going on. For Alexa, it's this guilt and shame that she tends to carry. And because of that energy, she's wearing that like a blanket, right? And Lino can feel that. So then Lino maybe is too often doing anything that's working for her, because it's like, I know that she has this energy where she's feeling this guilt. So Lino's like, yeah, sure, wherever you need to go. But Lino then feels bitter about it because Lino then wants to experience his own life. So I do think that this actually could ultimately show them like, hey, this isn't about you guys wanting to be with other people.
Yeah.
You want to be with each other. You're a great fit together. But Alexa needs to learn that she doesn't need to carry this guilt and always worry about taking care of people, because then there's this burden. And Lino needs to maybe feel like safety to tell Alexa that I need to have some of my own independence and maybe not always go in the direction, so that I feel like I'm valued in this as well.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because then when he saw her, she was telling the crew that like he still feels like a second choice, and she's been choosing him for years, but if he doesn't see that, then she can't choose him and she's tired. And Lino's starting to process too. He's like, I've been internalizing this from the beginning and I haven't been validating myself. And I'm learning. I feel like genuinely, as much as I'm like, yeah, they both shouldn't be here, I'm like, why are you guys here? Go home. Go home and feel better. But I actually do think both of them during each bonfire have been processing and kind of learning internally what's going on. Like Lino's internalizing that he doesn't feel validated, but he's realizing it's also because I haven't been validating myself. And Alexa's realizing like how much shame she carries about her past, and then her start with Lino, and hasn't let that go. So I mean, ultimately, I'm like, you know, these two, they go on some, like, Alexa asks Gio on a date, and Lino asks Amaya on a date. Amaya, though, is into Brion, I believe. So I'm like, I don't even know what's going on with that. But then at their final bonfire, the dates, we don't really see anything during their dates. But the final bonfire, Lino sees Alexa and she's sitting with Gio and she's kind of being a little more playful with him. She says she has a soft spot for him. He feels comfort for her. But Lino's like, another Italian guy. He's like, she's looking for comfort, but he's not me. And he seems okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's the first bonfire where he's seeing her being cozy with somebody, but it's almost like I'm okay with it because I see myself in that guy a little bit, and she's trying to find comfort in this situation.
Yeah, interesting.
You know, and maybe he relates to that too, where he's like, maybe I'm trying to
we're both missing something. Tune
in with a woman who feels like similar energy to Alexa so that I can feel comfort in the situation because I feel lonely.
Yeah.
And then Alexa sees Lino and he's talking to Alex. And this was the one that was tough because he's telling Alex that she's the only person that he's being tempted by and attracted to. Right. It gives him feelings and urges. And he's like, and then we hear that, I thought I made that obvious on our date, especially when you're right above me and I'm just staring at you. She doesn't know that they were doing like acro yoga. So it sounds almost like when they were being intimate or something. And she says that Alexa, though, handles it where she's like, he came for clarity, so he can continue to try to do that. It hurts, though. And Mark's like, you know what it means when it hurts? And she's like, it's because I care. I love him. And so I do think that actually, like,
this might work out for them in a better way.
It might work out because look at how she's then handling him telling a woman that he has urges towards her. She's like, he's getting the clarity he needs.
I also think she's not super threatened by him.
What do you mean?
Like Lino, I don't think she's super like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's more the other direction. I think Lino's more concerned about her. And, you know, he kept saying, I helped build her into this like super eligible bachelorette, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I don't think she's super threatened by him. So that might work,
but at the same time, Lino saw her with Gio and was like, I'm okay. And
I'm just saying, I don't think, so I think.
She saw him with Alex saying was tempted by her.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm okay. I find it interesting because I think they really love each other. Yeah. Is that they both saw their person with another person and they were okay with that, even though it hurt. What really hurt them was when they heard the other person talking negatively about them. Yeah. And I think that is like a tell that they deeply love each other and they just need to work on their own internal stuff that can then help bring them together. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I the whole time I'm just like, you guys just go home. Yeah. Like, I know that this is probably actually very good for you, but like, just go home. You're hurting yourselves.
It's like, just stop this, you guys. You might do irreparable damage, but
I do think that they're going to walk away together,
I think so
though.
Too. I think so, too.
I really do. I hope so.
I think, just a quick little recap, I think they'll walk away. I think Brion and Shante will walk away together.
Oh, no.
And I think the other two couples will be gone. That's what I think. That's my prediction right now.
I think Lino and Alexa will walk away together. And I think just for the sake of hope, I'm going to say that the other three don't. I'm going to just pray that Shante is like, no.
Yeah.
But there is something about Tyler and Taylor that's making me feel like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous too.
Yeah.
That I could see them getting in the room together and being like, we'll see.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for Taylor.
Yeah.
But anywho, family, that was the recap of episodes 4, 5, and 6. The season is hot fire.
So good.
Dude, this show's so good. This show is one of those ones, like, you know, because we recap a lot of reality TV, often at the like when an episode ends, I'll be like, okay, I'll hold off. Done, Temptation Island. I'm like, I gotta start the next episode. Especially the cliffhanger Lay left us on with this Shante reaction. I mean, this will tell us everything. I know. But I'm like, each episode, I'm like, I want to keep going. I want to keep going. All right, family. Well, we love you, and we'll see you at our next episode.
Love y'all.
Mwah. Bye.